Hi everyone, and thank you so much for joining me on this 14-day yoga challenge. This is day one, and we're gonna start off with a Vinyasa flow class. We'll keep it really simple today because most of our classes will be done in the Vinyasa flow style. We'll just go over what a Vinyasa is and how you can modify it for your body. We'll also go over some of the more foundational poses in yoga. Starting in an easy child's pose. Let's bring the big toes together and keep your knees pretty close in towards each other as well. Instead of reaching our arms forward like we normally do in child poses, we're gonna reach our arms back and let the shoulders rest over the knees, taking 5 breaths here and bringing the forehead to the floor. Let the upper back relax and the shoulders melt away. And in yoga, unless we're doing any kind of specific breathing exercise, we breathe in and out through the nose. Trying to get the length of your inhale to be just as long as the exhale. On your next inhale, let's roll up and come into our tabletop pose. So palms are underneath the shoulders, fingertips are spreading wide, knees are underneath the hips. You'll want to get your middle finger and index to be pointing towards the top of the mat and firm up your belly a little bit so that the lower back is flat. We'll take cat and cow for a few rounds to warm up the spine. On the inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, curl tailbone up, squeeze your shoulder blades behind your back. And on the exhale, round your spine, bring your chin in towards your chest and relax the head. Let it be heavy. Take a few more like this. So inhale, we lift up. Keep the elbows straight. And as you exhale, round. Press the knuckles and the fingertips into the floor. Take the weight out of the wrists. Take one more. Inhale to lift. And exhale to round. Come back into your neutral tabletop pose. We're gonna take our first downward dog, which is where our vinyasas start out from. From a tabletop pose, you'll need to walk your palms a couple inches past the shoulders. Keep your palms shoulder width distance apart. You're gonna tuck your toes under, and then we're gonna lift our hips up and back. Really important that we keep our feet hip width distance apart here. And if I look back at my feet, I don't really wanna be able to see my heels. So I'm aligning them. Lengthen and reach through your arms so that they're really long. And because this is our first downward dog, you'll want to bend your knees pretty generously here. Those of you who have lower back sensitivities or really tight hamstrings will always want to keep your knees generously bent. Don't even worry about getting your heels to the floor. It doesn't matter that much. Instead, focus on lengthening the spine by reaching your tailbone up and back and spreading wide through the sit bones. Notice how much weight you're putting on your wrists. See if you can shift some more weight into the fingertips and knuckles instead. And let's just paddle the feet. So bend your left knee and press into that right heel. And switch sides. So right knee bends, left heel presses down. Do that a few more times, just noticing how the hamstrings and the hips are feeling today. Try to relax your neck, maybe shake out the head a couple times. So taking our vinyasa from our downward facing dog, on an inhale, let's come forward into plank pose. So you're gonna lift your heels high off the mat and ripple forward like a wave. So engage your core until your shoulders come either directly over the top of your wrists, or if you have the strength, you're gonna lean them a couple inches forward. So we're gonna modify this first one. Let's lower our knees to the floor. So if you're just working at building strength, don't worry about keeping your knees lifted off the floor here. Always bring them down. Reach your heart forward so you're in one long line from the crown of your head all the way down into the tailbone. On our exhale, we're gonna lower all the way down to our belly. So as you exhale, bend the elbows, and instead of letting them splay out to the sides, you want to keep them hugging close towards the rib cage. So lean the chest forward, really slowly engaging the triceps until the belly comes down to the floor. Let's point our toes back if they're not already. We're gonna come into cobra. Press your hands into the floor, and as you inhale, chin and chest lift up. My hips are still grounded on the mat. The tops of my feet are pressing into the floor, and I'm reaching with the heart. Exhale, settle back down, and let's press back into our child's pose. Big toes together, knees apart, forehead to the floor. Take 3 breaths here. On an inhale, let's come up to our tabletop pose. Hands and knees, realign your palms a couple inches past the shoulders and find your down dog. So we're gonna take our vinyasa once more without modifying. I'll show you how to do it that way. Find your downward dog. So the knees could be bent or they could be straight. This is your choice. Focus on lengthening the spine. On your next inhale, come forward through the plank pose, lift the heels, ripple forward. Let's keep our knees lifted if you'd like for this first one. Reach your heart forward, draw the shoulders away from the ears, firm up the belly, and on the exhale, let's lower down all the way. Keep the elbows hugging in. Point the toes back, take cobra, chin and chest lift up. Exhale to lower, and let's go right away into our downward facing dog. Toes curl under, hips lift. So there is one more way to do this vinyasa. If you want to take a deeper back bend and work at arm and shoulder strength a little bit more, we're going to come into upward facing dog and do chaturanga instead of lowering to our belly. So from our downward dog, as we inhale, we're coming forward to plank pose, nothing changes. If you'd like to take chaturanga this time, on the exhale, you'll need to shift your weight forward so you're high onto the tips of your toes. And then as you lower, you're gonna hover halfway and hold. So elbows are bent at a 90-degree angle. And then we're gonna flip our toes back and lift the chest up for upward facing dog. So in upward dog, my hips and my knees are not touching the floor, only the palms and the tops of the feet. And as you exhale, we're gonna go right away into our downward dog. Your core lifts you up and back as you press into your hips and press into the heels. Take 3 breaths here. Relax the neck, let the head be heavy. So these vinyasas are a great way to get the heart rate going. Let's come into our warrior poses. Please reach your right leg all the way up towards the sky, and then look forward and step your right foot in between your palms to the top of the mat. Let's start with warrior 1. Back foot turns at a 45-degree angle, arms extend up. So both of my hips are squared to the front of the mat, as are my shoulders. I'm reaching up through the arms, bending into my right knee while keeping my left leg straight. Try to keep the upper rib cage in and lift up a little higher with the upper body, reaching with the arms. On your next inhale, let's bring our palms to touch, shift the gaze up, little bit of a back bend. Press your palms together firmly so you're engaging the pectorals. And let's take our vinyasa. So as you exhale, plant your palms to the mat. Inhale to plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga. Cobra or upward facing dog, so you modify as you need to. Exhale, back into our downward dog. Let's move to the second side. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it through. Right foot open at a 45-degree angle. Plant that heel, firm up the belly, and lift up. 3 breaths here. Establishing a solid foundation so both feet are actively pressing into the floor. Pull the lower belly in, bend into your left knee a little more. Right hip and right shoulder scoop forward. As you inhale, bring your palms to touch. Shift your gaze up, a little bit of a back bend. Exhale to flow, palms to the floor, shoulder width distance apart. Inhale to plank. Exhale, you decide if you lower to your belly or if you hover in chaturanga. Cobra or upward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, down dog. From your downward facing dog, let's reach our right leg up and back. This time, bend your right knee and open up that hip. So you're trying to get your right knee to go as high up as you can. Squeeze the glutes. And let's look forward and step our right foot in between the palms, warrior two this time. So back foot parallel to the short edge of your mat. Arms reach up. Palms are facing down. So right knee needs to bend generously. Be mindful of not letting your right knee buckle inwards. Keep pressing it open. Shoulders are aligned over the hips. Tailbone reaches down. Maybe lifting and spreading all 10 toes, lifting through the arches of the feet. Take another inhale to sink down a little lower. And then exhale, cartwheel your palms to the floor. Let's take our vinyasa. Inhale to plank. Exhale to lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog. Second side, inhale, left leg up, bend your left knee, open up that hip. So don't let the left shoulder lift up here. Keep pressing it down. Nothing changes in the upper body. Relax your neck and step that left foot through. Warrior two on the second side, right foot parallel to the short edge of your mat. Both arms reach up and over. Palms are facing down, gazing forward. Try to slow down your breath, slow down the heart rate. Take another inhale to sink a little lower. Exhale, let's take our last vinyasa, cartwheel the palms down. Inhale, plank pose, reach your heart forward. Exhale, lower your push-up. Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. 3 breaths here. Find space at the back of the legs. Feel free to bend your knees generously here. Always being mindful of your lower back. And let's finish off with the hip opener coming into pigeon pose. Please reach your right leg up and back. And let's step our right foot or right knee behind the right wrist. Reach your left leg as far back as you can here. On an inhale, lift the chest, lift the heart. And then exhale, fold forward. So be mindful of not rolling on one side more than the other. Keep your weight evenly distributed. And if your right hip is elevated here, you can always put a block underneath you so that you have support. We're gonna take 5 long breaths. Let go of any tension in the shoulders or the upper back. Minimizing the amount of effort required in this pose. And let's walk our hands back in. Palms are shoulder width distance apart. Curl the back toes under so you can lift your left knee. We're coming back to our downward facing dog. And do any little movements you need to do here just to get the blood flowing again through that right hip and right leg. Second side, let's reach the left leg up, inhale. And then bring your left knee behind your left wrist. Extend the right leg back. As we inhale, we lift the heart. Exhale, we fold. 5 breaths on this side. Try to let the upper body be really heavy here. You can always use some props like blocks or pillows to bring the floor a little bit closer towards you. And let's find our last downward dog of the day. Palms shoulder width distance apart, curl the back toes under. Use your core to step that left foot next to the right. And we're gonna come to lay down on our back, so you can either step or jump through to seated. If you're gonna jump through, you're gonna lift your heels up high, bend your knees, look forward past your palms, and just lightly hop. Reach the legs up and lower, and let's come down onto our backs. Give your knees a big squeeze. And release. So every single class will always finish in Shavasana, which is normally how we close our yoga practice. It's a wonderful way for our body to integrate all the work we've done. So in Shavasana, you want to shrug the shoulders away from the ears, freeing up your neck. If you have any kind of lower back issues or sensitivities, having the legs straight might not be comfortable, in which case you can keep your knees bent, feet flat on the mat. So choosing what is appropriate for your body always. And the wonderful goal of Shavasana is to do absolutely nothing. Letting your body be heavy and relaxed and soft, from the muscles around the eyes and the jaw and the shoulders, all the way down into the hips, legs, and feet. I encourage you to stay here for a few more minutes. Thank you so much for doing this practice with me, and I look forward to practicing with you tomorrow as well. Have a wonderful day.